getting breakfast for the last time here at this hotel. I noticed the cleaning staff here is very friendly. They're much friendlier than at the Hilton, at any of the other properties at Hilton here in Korea. Here at this Busan Business Hotel, the cleaning ladies smile and bow, say good morning. Very friendly, very polite. Third breakfast here at the Busan Business Hotel. And it's interesting how every day, today's a Friday, it's interesting how the client base here, the guest base, changes so dramatically. Yesterday we saw a lot of, first day we saw a lot of Chinese. Second day we saw a lot of Spanish speaking people. Today, I think it's a lot of Japanese people. So maybe they come in big tour groups, but it's interesting, and the staff has changed today too. Different staff. There's actually more people here. But the breakfast staff here at the Busan Business Hotel, stoic, no expression, no eye contact. They're like robots. Another thing I noticed is that many of the tourists who are visiting around Korea, maybe this is everywhere, I don't know. I think I noticed it less in Thailand, but here in Korea, most of the guests, whether they're European, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, like you make eye contact and you like give them a nod or a smile, no response. They're just stoic. They don't give you a response. Every once in a while you'll get a smile back or a nod back, but usually no, nothing. I wonder if it's because they are in Korea and they know that other Koreans don't acknowledge them. It's because they're kind of like, even other foreigners I see that seem to be living here, whether they're students or like living here somewhat living here in Korea. I notice the same thing from them, where they just sort of look straight. They don't look at anybody. They sort of adopted the culture in Korea where they just sort of a stoic face, no expression. They don't look around. They don't smile. Nothing like that. I notice most people who eat when they're having breakfast, they eat literally with no expression on their face. Like they're just like robots, like just like putting food into their mouth. No smiles, no expression, like no like reaction to the food. Like me, when I'm eating, I'm always like, oh, if it's good, I smile. If it doesn't good, I'll make a frown. I'll make faces constantly if I like it or not. But other people, like they're just like robots. Like I'm looking at a young lady over there. She has no expression on her face. That Japanese girl, no expression. I don't know if she's Korean or Japanese, but she's sitting by herself over there. No expression on her face, like she's eating, like nothing, like no reaction to the food, whether she enjoys it or not. I have no idea.
She can eat.
No idea. Nice second serving, more scrambled eggs, more pork. I forgot the Korean name for this. This is that Chinese pork. It's got some kind of flour coating or something on it, and it's like sour, sweet and sour, I think. And this is a what is this? I think this is squash, and it's fried with some kind of coating, some kind of like flour or panko coating, and bean sprouts. I got a little bit of yogurt on top of the eggs.
My favorite. Rat person.
It's weird when you see couples or even families sitting at a table, whether they're old couples, sometimes they're young couples, sometimes European, Asian, whatever. They don't say a single word to each other. There's no communication. They just eat. They're just eating their breakfast, and they don't say a single word. I haven't seen some of them say a single thing to each other the whole time. It's so bizarre. Is it just me who thinks this is weird? How come most guests who are eating at hotel breakfast, How come they look miserable? Why did most of them just look miserable? Most of these guests. I don't see smiles. Again, this goes for most places. In most hotels. We're checking out today. Leaving Busan, going back to Seoul. We're gonna call a cab using Kakao T. It's the most convenient way to call cabs here. Every cab driver uses Kakao T. And payment is through the system. Same price as if you would pay if you were paying the cab directly using their meter. In most Korean hotels, the host will speak to you in Korean, but in this one at the Busan business, the host, as we left, was speaking to us in English. I guess he expects the majority of his guests to be non-Korean speakers. So we're taking the cab to the Busan KTX station. It's about 10:44 a.m. on a Friday. All the cab fares here in Busan seem to start off at around 4,800, which is about maybe $4 or $3.75 or so US. And then from there they incrementally goes higher as you travel. In Busan, there's a lot of money they put into infrastructure because of the hills, the roads going up and down, the bridges, the ocean. So you can see that a lot of infrastructure money got put in just to build out the city. I guess the situation is that if you speak, like for example me, if I speak some limited Korean and I speak to somebody in Korean, they assume I speak good Korean, so they start talking to me in Korean and I only understand maybe half of what they're saying. So the communication is off, but they don't know it, but I feel it because I don't understand half of what they're saying, but they don't know that because they assume I understand everything. And I think in the same way that if I'm speaking English and they're speaking in their limited Korean, I may speak in English and maybe I assume they understand what I'm saying. In the same situation, they may not understand half of what I'm saying. So it's either or. It's that communication issue with people who don't speak your language. Yeah, so I would say that in Busan and Gyeongju and in southern Korea, the accent is stronger, or it's different from Seoul, where they have more of they sound more tonal like Chinese, whereas in Seoul it sounds more flat and stronger in terms of consonants, like in Japanese. So it has a closer relationship with the Japanese sound. In southern Korea, Busan, Gyeongju has more of a closer relationship in terms of sound to Chinese. Although the irony is that in Busan it's closer to Japan because you can just take a ferry ride to Japan in a few hours. But then again, in Japan, in that part of southern Japan, maybe they also have a more of a tonal Japanese accent. Who knows? Yeah, there's a lot of Paris baguettes and tous les jours here in Busan and in Seoul, and those are the two coffee pastry franchises that are also in the US.
누군가 범죄에 이용한다면 가상의 내가 범죄자도 가짜 뉴스의 피해자도 될 수 있습니다. 모두가 누리는 기술, 지켜야 할 책임도 함께합니다. 공익광고 협의회.
Yeah, personally, I'm not that impressed with the Starbucks or the Pascucci coffee chains here. I think the Tusum place is better. And maybe even that other one that we went to the other day, where they required us to buy 2 drinks, was actually okay. Price was really reasonable, really good. What's that place that they required us to buy 2 drinks? That was pretty good. Yeah, the problem with going to the subway or the train station early is that if you wait around inside, it's hot. They don't fully air condition the place, so it's just uncomfortable in there. So here we are at Busan Station. Now there are 3 Korean food franchises in the US. Loteria and Paris Baguette and Tous les Jours. 3 of them. I don't know if there's any even Japanese franchises or coffee shops in the US. There are some Chinese coming in. There's one and there's maybe one or two Taiwanese. There's also what's that one place from the Philippines? Jollibee. There's Jollibee from the Philippines, but they don't have that many locations. I would say the Koreans are being the most aggressive and the most expansive in terms of their food and beverage expansions. There's reputation that Koreans are very fashionable, or that they're thin. I mean, I'm not seeing it. They just dress very, very casual, in my opinion. Extremely casual. I think the people in Bangkok are actually more fashionable. Tokyo, they're more fashionable. And I think the people here are actually very chubby. A lot of girls and men are quite big and chubby. The men especially are just big, bulky, like Samoans. Huge. Some of them are slim, but a lot of them are also just big, and they seem to work out a lot now. But they're just big, like just Samoan football players. Maybe it's due to the weather outside, but it's nice and cool in here today. Inside the subway station or the train station. Last couple of times we were here, it was like super hot. Not hot, but it was just warm and humid inside. Just fans running and very little AC running. And this is at Seoul Station, Busan, and over at Gwangju Station. In many ways in East Asia, if you're not part of someone's in-group, like family, friends, work, co-workers, you're kind of like an NPC. You don't really exist. Like, they don't look at you, no eye contact, very little communication. I mean, there is some basic courtesy and respect, but very, very little. Avoidance of eye contact. But if you're in their in-group, if you are part of their bubble group, then yeah, there's a lot of recognition, there's a lot of acknowledgement. You're no longer an NPC. I think there's a correlation between the prevalent coffee, cafe, dessert culture here, with all the Western sweets, along with the weight gain and girth increases that I'm seeing here in Korea and all of East Asia and Southeast Asia. As these type of cafes and dessert shops proliferate, people are going to continue to gain weight. As you get older, I feel like it's more difficult to keep track of your relative age compared to others, especially when you're living in a age hierarchy society, or if you happen to be one in one, like in Asia or East Asia, especially in Korea. It's hard to know like where you stand, because when you're young or when you're a kid, you're just the young person in the room, and as you get older, you start to become the older young man, and then the middle-aged man, and maybe the above middle age and the older man. But you don't see yourself in that way, and you kind of lose track of where you stand, and you can't even, as you get older, it becomes more difficult also to recognize how old other people are. Like, I remember when I was younger, I felt like it was very easy to tag people's ages, but as I get older, I find it more and more difficult to know exactly how old they are. And many times I see an older person not knowing that I'm actually older than that person. Like, I see an old lady and I think, man, I think I'm actually older than her. But because you're still thinking of her as a young man, or see that face as a young man, and not reframing that face or that look from an older perspective. You notice that in a lot of the public seatings in Korea, they just have like benches, no back support. And I guess that kind of aligns with Korea's culture of sitting on the floor, no chairs. Whereas in the West, they sit on chairs with back support. There are so many coffee shops here. There's 138 Cafe, Eria Coffee. There's a Pascucci Coffee. There's a Hawaiian Paradise Coffee. And then inside these convenience stores, they sell coffee. These bakeries there, they sell coffee. Where else? Over there, another bakery, coffee. Here, they probably sell coffee. So many coffee shops, it's crazy. In the US, you might find one or two at most. That's it. Here, I mean, 4, 5, 6 places where you can get coffee. Not just any kind of coffee, but like luxury coffee, the fancy stuff. We're taking the 12 o'clock KTX train to Seoul, track 5. This is the queue, the line to get on the train for Seoul. Alright, train to Seoul.